Hey everyone, so it's J. Allen Hull here, and I'm just going to go ahead and talk about something. This past week, I've been talking about certain things as far as, excuse me, still got that tickle in my throat. Been talking about things as far as rest. I mean, I know a lot of people are home where we've switched to working from home, um, and you guys get to experience what I experience every day in a lot of ways. That being said, what I really wanted to go ahead and address was so this is this is like the worst swear word ever, and I've heard it a lot this week as I've one looked at people's posts on social media, two interacted with people, and three gotten feedback from the videos that I've shared about taking control of your rest, your off time. Uh, Creating daily rituals as well as your priorities and your schedule. And this, like, I mean, people have been using this word. They've been throwing it at me. They've been throwing it at me a lot. And man, I got to tell you, it's awful. I hate this word. It is the worst word in the world. But because I have to talk about it, I'm going to be saying it a lot. And the word is can't. Yeah, can't. CAN apostrophe T. Can't. So I can't plan my days off. I can't take a nap. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's really this is the worst word ever. If I ever hear my kids saying this, I mean, it's like I have a meltdown because it offends me so much. Um, and I'll tell you why. And I want to go back and I want to tell you a little bit. Let's go back to when I was told I would never work again, right? And I spent 5 years with can't. People would say, well, what about this? No, I can't. Well, what about, can you come out and spend time with us? No, I can't. What about doing this or that? Well, my health won't let me. Won't is another word related to can't, and I'm going to go into that in a second. But can't, I can't work. And you know what? The moment I changed my mind, I mean, literally, I sat down in my mind. I said, there has to be something. Not that I can't work, not that there isn't anything I can do. I said, no, there has to be something I can do. There has to be some way that I can provide for my family, eventually bring my wife home, which was our plan since before we got married, for her to stay home with the kids. It's what, oh, my, can I just take a moment here and pause? My wife is totally in her element with this homeschool thing. I'm not saying it's easy, not by any stretch of the imagination, but she loves it. She is just like, I've got things to do all day. I feel productive. I'm going in depth with my daughter. I'm teaching her things. I mean, it's amazing. She absolutely loves this homeschool thing. So, but that's the point, is that's what she wanted to do. This is the life she wanted. And this is what I wanted to give her. And when I was told I'd never work again, the words can't came into her mind. And she said, no, Josh can't work, so I'll have to keep working. And we can't do anything to increase our income. When I stopped working, we lost 55% of our income, household income, overnight. Plus, we lost half of our insurance coverage, our health insurance. So we weren't double covered anymore. And all of a sudden, I had a $400 a month insurance copayment overnight. So for 5 years, we spent living with this word can't, like a big warm blanket around us, just living it, eating it up. Can't. Okay. And then the day that I told myself there has to be something, I'm going to stop saying can't, there has to be something out there, some way. The very next day, almost like I don't know, I'm going to use the word manifested it. There was a post on Facebook from our friend who lived just down the street saying that he needed some help and that this person could work from home. He was opening a freight brokerage. He needed freight agents, people to contact companies, secure freight, book it with trucks, and to be able to, and that they could do it from home. All you needed was a computer, the internet, and a cell phone. You didn't even need to be on camera. That's you just need to be able to call people and talk. I said, well, I can do that. I could call people and talk. I can do that from my bed. If I'm tired, if I can't move, if I'm shaky, doesn't matter what's going on. I could do that. And the great thing is exactly that, because, we had looked into like work from home call centers, things like that. Problem is that you're tied to a computer. And I thought, well, but this way I could literally do it anywhere. I don't have to be tied to a wired internet connection. I don't have to be sitting anywhere specific. I don't need a workstation. I can just do it wherever, whenever, however I want. No scheduled hours. If I feel good, I can do it. If I don't, I don't. I don't make any money that day, and that's fine, and that's up to me. But there's no pressure. So we gave it a try, and you know what? We made it work. We built our own freight agency. We had employees. We built a business. And I decided I didn't like the hours. I love, please. And right now, our national heroes, part of them, not only the first responders, law enforcement, healthcare, but truckers. Man, the people that are keeping this country going right now, the people that are putting that toilet paper back on the shelves are truckers. So you know what? Stay 6 feet away, but give them a big high five 6 feet away, a big wave, because they're what's doing it. I love the trucking industry. What I hated was that it's kind of a 24/7 business, right? I mean, most of my work was done during the morning because that's when they wanted loads. So I'd post loads, they'd call me, I'd book the load with them, and off they'd go. But if something happened, if something happened on the weekend that they went to deliver the load and they weren't accepting it, or that they got into an accident, or they got delayed because of a flat tire, or whatever the case might be, they had to call me. So that means calls in the afternoon, calls in the evening, calls at night, calls on the weekend. And the straw that finally broke the camel's back was when one night Mindy and I had driven a half hour to go to a nice restaurant, right? Because here in our little valley, we've got some nice restaurants, but not like nice, like, fancy steak dinners that you're going to be paying, $50 a plate for, right? And so I wanted to take Mindy out. We were kind of celebrating. There wasn't really a special occasion. We were just kind of celebrating at the fact that we were succeeding, we were making money, and that Mindy, by the way, by this point in time, I had been able to retire her. We'd made enough money. She was able to quit her job, come home, stay home with the kids that we had, and start having more babies and just totally be in her element. But anyways, we went out, we sat down, and just as we were sitting down, my phone rang. It was my work phone. I knew what it was. I answered it because you can't not answer it. And it was a load that was being rejected. And this was a Saturday evening. So we had to load up in the car. I mean, literally just left the restaurant after being seated, hadn't even ordered, hadn't even gotten our drinks, hadn't anything, picked up, walked out, said, sorry, thanks, drove a half hour home. I spent the rest of the night and that weekend working on this load because it was a very important load, a very difficult load, and it was a mess. And that was kind of it. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of this. I want to own my time. But because my mindset had changed from can't, I didn't say, well, I can't do anything else. This is just what I have to do. No, I said, what else can I do? Instead of, you see the difference there? Instead of I can't, it's what else? What else can I do? What is there? Let's find out. Let's see. And then I moved into the financial services industry. And then you know what? I found out I still love the financial services industry. I still help people set up retirement plans. It is part of what I do in intentional living because you need, seriously, right now, looking at the stock market, just a little thing here, you have to be intentional about your money and your retirement. The average 401k, I'm going to say it again, only lasts 7 to 10 years, okay? Stop listening to Dave Ramsey. Start listening to people that are talking about guaranteed lifetime income, that are talking about indexed accounts, not index funds, index accounts. Index funds lose money. Index accounts never lose money. Okay, anyhow, you want to know more about that, shoot me a message. I'll tell you more. I'll put you in touch with the right people. I don't personally do financial services anymore. I put you in touch with the right people because it wasn't what I loved, but I could do it. Now I do what I love. I help people. I coach people. I talk to entrepreneurs and businesses and help them to radically change their mindsets and their lives and their schedules and their productivity so that they get to spend more time at home with their families than working in their business, not working on, working in their businesses. So here's the thing. I've heard a lot of Cant. Okay. We let's fast forward now. From the moment that I changed my mindset, I literally manifested an opportunity. Okay. I know you're saying, well, that was your friend who posted that. Right. But it was there. And because my mindset was changed, instead of looking at that and going, huh, I wish I could do that. No, I was right on I was Johnny on the spot and was able to start doing that and prove to myself that I could work. So here's some things is I've had some conversations with people. One of them recently was, I was talking about my schedule. I wake up at 4 a.m. and I get a lot of reading done. This isn't even, if you went upstairs, in addition to all of these books, which are nonfiction, I've got all Star Wars books. I've got Star Trek books. I've got Harry Potter books. I've got, LDS fiction books. I've got all kinds of books and I love to read. And because I get up earlier, I have more time, one, to study my scriptures, which I love to do as well. I love to spend time rather than feeling rushed, to meditate, to read, or personally enrich myself through an online course or something of that nature for an hour, all before I even get the kids up and start helping to get them ready for school or whatever the case is going on right now, or do family scripture study or anything like that. And I was talking to somebody and I was actually talking to their wife about that. And she, oh man, he would so love to be able to read. He would love it. And then I said, well, why doesn't he just, I wake up at 4. I told her this whole thing. She said, well, he already wakes up at 5. And I said, but what time does he go to work? She says, well, 6. And that's where, and I said, well, why doesn't he just wake up an hour earlier? Why doesn't he wake up at 4? And then, then he can have that extra time because if you wake up at 5 and, it kind of takes you an hour to have your morning routine, whatever it might be, shower, shave, don't shave, have your breakfast or your morning beverage, whether that's coffee, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatever it might be. You're not going to have time. Okay. But if you wake up at 4, you have time to maybe get ready and then spend an hour or 45 minutes doing what you want, reading, studying, whatever the case might be, or before the family's up. So, I said that. She says, well, he can't. He can't do that. I said, why not? She says, well, he'd lose sleep. I said, well, why doesn't he go to bed an hour earlier? Well, he can't do that. I said, well, why not? Why can't he go to bed an hour earlier? Well, because the kids are still up. I said, we'll put the kids to bed an hour earlier. Well, we can't do that. And I said, why? Why can't you make adjustments? Well, because the kids just won't. And I said, well, our kids are in bed by 6:30, 7 o'clock. Like they're begging for it at 6 o'clock. They're literally, without us telling them, they're going and getting their jammies. And I know everybody out there right now is probably, oh, here he goes. He's got the perfect life. No, you know what? It's hard work. It is hard work to train your family, to train yourself, to train your kids to have a schedule. But once they're trained, like our kids are, once they're trained, it's not a problem. It isn't a problem at all. They want to go to bed earlier, which means Mindy and I can have some alone time earlier. That's important. I get it. If your kids go to bed at 9, you're probably going to want to stay up till 11 or 12 with your significant other. Our kids go to bed at 6:30. Mindy and I stay up between 8 and 9 o'clock at night. It gives us 2 or 3 hours together to read scriptures, to talk, to plan, to watch our favorite shows, whatever that might be at the moment. And we can do that and we can relax and unwind. But then we're in bed by 8 or 9 o'clock so that when I wake up at 4 in the morning and Mindy wakes up at 5 or 6 in the morning, we've gotten plenty of sleep. And so I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying you can. Okay. Getting back into the habit of working after being told that I couldn't work for 5 years, getting over that mindset, even though I switched, it still took me a long time to fully get over that. It's work. It takes work, but you can. People right now are complaining because I don't get my, what is it? I don't get my commute time. And that's where I have my cup of coffee, or that's where I, at the end of the day, I unwind, or that's where I listen to my audiobooks. That's where I get all my personal enrichment during that time. So why aren't you getting that time still? That's my question. If you left for work at 8 in the morning and it took you a half hour to get to work, and that's where you had your coffee or your personal enrichment time, listening to a book on tape, or that's where you listen to your favorite podcast, whatever it is, why aren't you still getting that? You're making a choice, right? You go, well, I don't have to start work till 8:30. So tell your family, hey, you're used to me leaving at 8, right? Things are different now. I don't have to leave to go to work at 8, but I'm going to go down to my office. I'm going to go down to my whatever it is, right? Wherever you're working. I'm going to put in my headphones and I'm going to enjoy my cup of morning Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, coffee. I don't drink coffee, so it's hard for me to relate. But whatever your morning drink is, and I'm going to listen to my podcast for a half hour before I start working. That's part of my daily ritual. Remember, one of my other videos talked about creating a daily ritual, and explain to them why you need that. At the end of the day, you finish at, say, 5 o'clock. But normally it takes you a half hour to get home. You get a half hour commute, 5:30. That's where you unwind, right? That's where you just kind of let the day go so that when you walk in the door, you're not yelling and screaming at the kids right away, right? Hopefully traffic's good, so you're not all even more wound up and stressed. So tell them, yeah, I know I'm done at 5, but I'm not going to come out of my office till 5:30. I'm going to meditate for a half hour, or I'm going to listen to more of that book on tape, or I'm going to have my whatever it is, my Mountain Dew for coming home reward drink, or whatever you do. The bottom line is you can. And don't, I know you're probably switching me off going, this guy has no touch on reality. Listen, you know what? Working from home for the past 3-4 years has taught me a lot about actually treating your home job like your real job. If it takes you a half hour to commute to your, and I don't want to say real job because a home job is a real job. Let me rephrase that. Treating your working from home like you would do the exact same thing as if you were working from an outside office. Okay. And keeping that same schedule. One, it's going to keep normalcy during this time of non-normalcy, right? This craziness that's going on. It's going to help your body to continue to function and keep those patterns. Okay. Number 2, it's going to give you those things that you're missing. Okay. And number 3, it's just good sense to set boundaries. When you work from home, you have to set boundaries. This was one of the first challenges that I had was even with my wife. And, listen, you've heard me talk about her and I have nothing but good things to say, but this was a challenge that we had to overcome. Working from home was, the idea was, well, Josh is home, so he can make the doctor's appointments for the kids. He can continue, basically continue doing the house dad stuff that I was doing when I wasn't working, while instead of, her making the phone calls, calling the electric company because they overcharged us, calling the doctor, calling the school, or, whatever the case might be, once she came home. And she was home, but there was still this transition of, again, mindset change that, and even to the point of, even when she wasn't home, there was a little bit of a mindset issue of, well, Josh is home, so he can do it. And I'm going, well, but I'm trying to book loads. I can't be booking loads and trying to make money while you're expecting me to take the kids to the doctor's office. We need to treat this as though I got up, put my suit on, grabbed my briefcase, walked out the door and went to work. And especially, like I said, especially when she came home, that was part of the transition. Once she stopped working, it was, really trying to figure that out of, treat dad as though he got up and went to an office and disappeared for the day. Because, kids wanted to come in. They wanted to give me loves. And I love my kids, but there had to be boundary set. So part of this Cant It's not that you can't, it's that you won't. There's only one can't that actually is legitimate. And I'll tell you, there's only one reason to say the word can't. I can't because it's illegal, right? And unfortunately, most people, there's a lot of people that don't say that I can't because it's illegal. That's why we have an overcrowded prison system. But tell yourself that the only can't is because it's illegal. Every other can't is a won't. It's a I will not find a way. Okay. And it may not be the ideal way. It may not be the perfect way. It may not be what you're used to, but there is a way. All right. Stop saying can't. The only can't that exists is the I can't because it's illegal. That's it. Otherwise, all other can'ts are I won't. Stop saying I can't. Stop saying I won't. That's all you're saying when you say I can't. Okay. So I've talked a lot. I've already gone way over time here. But what I want to do is just impress upon you the idea that can't is a dirty, dirty word. Whenever you find yourself saying that, again, maybe your home office isn't ideal. You're stuck in the sewing room, or you're stuck in a closet. Okay. And you don't get to have a beautiful view, or you don't get to have, fresh air, an open window, whatever the case might be. Bottom line is there's still ways that you can find the positive there, that you can improve that, whether that's nature sounds coming from your phone or your computer, soundtrack, music, or putting up a poster of some beautiful scenery. The bottom line is your mind only understands what you tell it. And if you tell it that your situation is good, you're grateful to have a job, you're grateful that you're able to still provide for your family during this time, you're grateful for the space in your home to be able to do this, your mind will be grateful, and it'll stop saying, I can't. It will stop listing all the negatives. I don't have this, I don't have that. Okay. I promise you, stop saying can't, stop looking for the negative. If you do those two things, just please do those two things just this next week. Okay. Next week, today's Friday, tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday, take a break, reset your mind, go for a hike, have a Star Trek marathon, whatever is going to help you reset. Be intentional about it, plan it out. Then start Monday with stop using the word can't, stop using it on social media, stop using it in your home, stop using it in your business. Catch yourself every time. And then stop looking for the negative. Try to find the positive in your situation. Try to find the gratitude, at least 3 things to be grateful for. Anything that you're going to, this is awful because I don't have a window. Well, find 3 reasons why it's a good situation. Because I get to be with my family. Because I get to finally use my alarm clock app on my phone to remind me when it's break time and lunchtime and ending time, right? Because I get to still provide for my family. Okay. Whatever it is, but find 3 things to be grateful for whenever you start thinking a negative thought. I promise your week will be better. I promise you that your life, you'll feel like you're truly living and not just existing during this coronavirus zombie apocalypse. And I promise that you will begin to be more intentional, more grateful, more mindful of what is going on in your life. Okay. That's the goal here, right? We want to live intentionally. We want to stop just existing, and we want to truly live. Okay. So everyone, remember that. I'm Jay Allen Hall, your intentional living specialist. And I would say the #1 intentional living specialist in the country. And that's all for me, folks. All right. We'll see you later.